Hello everybody, and happy Valentine's Day to every one of you.
Happy 2024. We made it through February.
Yes.
Well, halfway through it.
Yes. Welcome to the Mary Elizabeth Jones Variety Hour.
Hello, and I'm Kaye, Lazar, the announcer. How you doing? Valentine's Day. All right. You know, when you work it out, every day is Valentine's Day. So, look at the camera there.
Yeah.
What are you staring at over there? What's so important? Someone's dog. Ginger ale.
Yeah.
You drink that before the show. Just scarf it down.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, every time I go to the movies, it's really weird. Like there'll be like two policemen like in a bar drinking beer or something.
Yeah.
And then they'll say we got an APB out, or our the man we're looking for, he's on the way. And of course they just put down the beer and get out of the bar, and then they drive off.
Yeah.
You know, those beers are like about like, I don't know how much they cost now, like $5-6 each.
Something like that. Yeah.
I'll go, well, I'll drink the whole thing, scarf the whole thing down. There's so much waste around here.
Yeah.
Speaking of waste, you know, it comes to food and everything. I won't order anything unless it has cheese on it. So we can put mayonnaise and mustard on instead. I said, no. It has to be cheese.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise and mustard is kid stuff.
Yeah.
You have to have cheese. I mention it all the time. The bravest man who ever lived.
Yeah.
Was the first man to eat cheese.
Yeah.
Said, you know, he's hungry one day, and he went to the dairy farm, and they said, is there anything to eat around here?
Yeah.
One guy says, well, we have this milk in the corner that's went bad.
Yeah.
you could evidently the mice like it. But if you want it, you can have it.
Yeah.
And so he takes it, says, God, it doesn't even pour. You know, I'll eat it on a biscuit or something, or a cracker or something.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, this would taste pretty good. This tastes pretty good between two pieces of bread and meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cheese. We went to dinner today. I don't usually go to
Cracker Barrel.
we went to Cracker Barrel. You know, we don't usually go to fancy restaurants, but today we did. We went to Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
And Cracker Barrel. Oh, they have like this little store that you could buy stuff at.
Yeah.
And I had to wait to get change of a 10 to give for the tip for the waiter. Waiter was very nice, but what was weird was I had to wait, and guess what the woman in front of me was buying? I didn't tell you. It was like placemats with Cracker Barrel menu items on it.
Oh yeah.
I said, well, I felt like saying, what, is that so when you eat at home you could pretend you're eating at Cracker Barrel? Yeah, we don't have fancy stuff around here. Let's pretend we're eating at Cracker Barrel. There's an old joke I remember when I was a kid. Why did the guy paint his dinner table blue and orange?
Yeah.
Because he wanted to pretend he was eating at Howard Johnson's. I don't think people eat at Howard Johnson anymore. They used to have that the ice cream was pretty good.
Yeah.
They had those fried clams.
Oh yeah.
Fried clams were good. Yeah. And but I actually had a bad time at once there when I was a kid. We used to go to Shoney's.
Oh, I used to love to go to Shoney's.
And Big Boy.
Yeah.
The Big Boy and the Big Boy hamburger and everything.
Yeah.
And that hot fudge sundae. I don't think I ever, you know, this stuff when I was a kid you never got. So this was a big deal.
Yeah.
They used to get a comic book too.
Yeah.
And I remember there was my mom once made me a hot dog, but we didn't have hot dog rolls.
Yeah.
We were so poor, and we just ran out of it.
Yeah.
So she got a piece of Wonder Bread and put the hot dog in there. Goes, here's your hot dog, brat. I said, "What the hell is this?"
I
She goes,
remember when I was little, my mom used to put the hot dog on a regular bread.
"Yeah, yeah." Well, I mean, looking back on it,
Yeah,
it's probably for the best. I mean, that piece of bread that's at the end of a loaf,
yeah,
the butt of the bread. What's it called? The heel.
yeah, the heel, yeah,
You can use that as a hot dog roll.
yeah.
Instead of giving you tips on it, you should be writing this all this stuff down.
Yeah.
So, so anyway, there was. Oh, by the way, my mom would do crazy stuff like she would take the two heels of the bread
Yeah,
and put peanut butter on one and jelly on the other and put it together, and then I'd open up my at my lunchbox and everything,
yeah,
or get the bologna sandwich or something. So,
yeah.
what the hell is this? two butts of the bread. It's all crust on one side. But anyway, this woman was telling me that she got back at her husband. They were having an argument, so she had to make him a sandwich every morning.
Yeah.
There's worse ways to get back at your husband, making a sandwich for him. But she took the two heels of the bread, put the meat in the side, and then put the heel facing each other. So when you opened the bread, it looked like two pieces of white bread. And then he said, "What's all this crust doing here?" And well, anyway, so I went to so my mom. I got mad at my mom for the hot dog and the bread, and she said, if you went to Howard Johnson's, they would put the hot dog in a piece of bread. And I said, "But I'm not eating at Howard Johnson's. I'll never eat at Howard Johnson's." I mean, you might as well said the 21 Club or Four Seasons Hotel or something.
Yeah.
So then she so I got to eat it. You're fine. It's fine. I just want when you're a kid, you just like to hear yourself complain.
Yeah.
So so then years later, I was invited like at a birthday party or something to eat it at the Howard Johnson's.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I'll have a hot dog, of course. That's what I love." And it wasn't until the waiter went back, and it's, "Oh," I'm like 6 years old. "Oh, I just remember they put in the piece of bread. I don't want it in a piece of bread. What do they think of?" So they brought it, and it was a hot dog in a roll, like I was used to eating.
Yeah.
So I saved a part of that roll, and then of course when I went home, I just showed Mom the roll. Look! They do put it in a roll. You made that up about Howard Johnson's. Mom didn't know what I was talking about. Mom didn't care what I was talking about. There was what's the said we when your parents made food in the day, they weren't short order cooks
Yeah.
or waitresses. They there was there was only you only had it two ways: come and get it, or take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Whereas Rodney Dangerfield says at his house it's come and get it. No, at everyone's house it's come and get it. At his house it's try and eat it. But I've been actually a lot of fancy dining lately for me. I've been everyone's been feting me, going. I'm like this popular guy,
Yeah.
going everywhere. And now it's Valentine's Day, my favorite day. It's good to see you,
Good to see
Mary.
you. Good to
And
see you.
and it's if you like I said, if you work it out every day is Valentine's Day, or as my priest once told me years ago, if you work it out every day is Ash Wednesday, which is I think coming up. Mardi Gras. Actually, I think today is the first day of Lent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday was Fat Tuesday.
Yeah.
Today it's the Wednesday. And have you ever been to New Orleans?
No, I haven't.
No,
But I like to though.
I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere. And I've been to New Orleans, and they have Mardi Gras, around this time, February, March, whatever the Advent, not Advent, Lenten calendar is, all right, before Easter.
Yeah.
And they have one day of wildness before Lent starts. Catholic city.
Yeah.
And that's Mardi Gras. And it's so busy. It's so much fun there and everything. and I'm all stiff there.
Yeah.
And they have and what happens is I went to New Orleans. When was it? Something like in September of the year I went. And forget about Mardi Gras. It was already pretty busy. I had it was a good time. I was really into jazz music in those days, and so I got a lot of I got a lot of jazz albums. I went to Preservation Hall and I heard the band play there. It only cost $2 to see, but I didn't realize there were no seats there. You had to sit on the floor, and then the guys playing the music played right in front of you, and there were no microphones, no speakers. It's all acoustic. And a lot of people think it's the same orchestra all the time, but it's not. It's whoever shows up that night.
Yeah.
And the night I went was the there was you would think, and of course you'd think because Dixieland Jazz, you think it's all black guys, but it was actually a few white guys there. One guy was from Sweden, named a guy who actually saw a few jazz albums, Orange Kellett. And then there was James, I forget his name, but he was the head of the band, the Fats Domino band, and he was there, and I recognized him. Not Fats Domino, he wasn't there, but the guy who ran it, and I got to meet them. But I didn't realize when you go to this, you're not supposed to be there. I was there for like 2 hours. You're only supposed to be there for a half hour because they felt after 2 hours you got your $2 worth. Because I think there was they because it's such a small place, they wanted people in and out. There was actually a line getting in, and I actually got there where it started like 6 p.m. or something. So I didn't have to wait in line. But when I left, there was a long line waiting for people like me after 2 hours.
Yeah.
Dixieland Jazz, and I've seen Dixieland Jazz in New York too. I saw it, Woody Allen's orchestra bands playing. I forget what they don't call. It's not called the Woody Allen Band, but people go see it because it's the Woody Allen.
Yeah.
So the two places you see Dixieland Jazz, and it's probably the best jazz when you think about it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I was in New Orleans, and I went to. New Orleans is the only city in America that's really is different from everywhere else. They don't even think of themselves as part of America. They think of themselves as North Latin America.
Yeah.
Part of North America, and it's like the Paris of the United States.
Yeah.
And let's see, and I went to mainly it was just like sightseeing and stuff. I had I got a not a blizzard, a hurricane. A blizzard is what you get at Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
A hurricane is this tall drink with lots of alcohol in it, and you walk around with it.
Wow.
You don't like sit in a bar and listen. Every bar you went to, there was music playing in the French Quarter, but you had to have 2 drinks, and the drinks I think were quite expensive. I went to one place. It was the oldest bar in America called Pat O'Brien's. It's still working. And they had something called a mint julep.
Oh, okay.
You ever had a mint julep?
I
never had one.
But when my cousins were little, one of them would cry.
Yeah.
And my mom used to tease them, saying, "You want some mint julep?"
Give the kids a mint julep.
Yeah.
That's the start of it all. One mint julep. Mint julep is, I actually saw in a book of cocktails how to make it, and you need bitters and mint, and you have to muddle it, and it's all seemed very complicated. One just you pour stuff in and drink it. So I've never had one, so I go there, and I think it was in the day it was quite expensive, something like $6 or something, which was a lot. For a drink in those days, and I got it, and I said, "Why is it so expensive?" They said, "Well, it's because you get a free glass with it. You can take that glass home with you." Now, this glass was one of those glasses that looked like they're going to break at any moment, shatter in your suitcase. So I said, "I don't really need a glass." I didn't need to worry about a glass breaking in my suitcase because I had a lot. I was going on to Arizona and Texas after that. This was like the first stop. So what happened was I said, well, okay, it's $4 without the glass. I said $4 perfect. Okay, so I drank it, and that was my first and only mint julep. It tastes it's sort of like drinking toothpaste,
Yeah.
toothpaste and alcohol. And but I drank it at the Pat O'Brien's,
Yeah.
not named after the movie star in all the James Cagney movies. And but it was what else I do? I remember buying. You see, I tell you what was going on. I was buying a lot of LPs. This was before CDs. That shows you how long ago it was. And it used to be that if you left town, maybe if you lived in New York or something, you could get access to
Yeah.
good records. But it used to be that if you went to or good clothes, if you go to New York or somewhere and go to their record stores, go to their boutiques, you
Yeah.
could find clothes and stuff you could not find where you live, small town where I'm from. So I bought all these jazz albums, which I still have. They're like my
Wow.
favorite album. And one of them I really liked was the music of Louis Prima, which I found out at the time. I didn't know this then, but I found out later that, I found this out. I didn't know that before that, but found out Louis Prima was from New Orleans, and he was considered a big deal in New Orleans, even though you think of him as Mr. Las Vegas and stuff. So I was in, this was a really good trip. I went to, this was 1989. I went from, where'd I go? I went from, I went from Charlottesville. I was in college at the time. And then I went to, uh, New Orleans, and then I went to Austin, Texas, and then I went to Tucson, Arizona. I met friends of mine there.
Okay.
And then I slingshotted back through Chicago and everything, and back to Charlottesville.
Cool.
And that was a good trip. It took about 2 weeks or so, and I spent all my time on a train. And I finessed it later. A year later, I took another trip from sounds like a similar trip. I went from San Francisco, Charlottesville to um, San Francisco,
Oh.
and then I went to Los Angeles, and then from Los Angeles I went to Las Vegas, and then I went home, and I spent a week in each place. And it was a 4-week trip. I said, well, where's the fourth week? Where'd the fourth week go? It says, well, it takes about 3 days to get there on a train. It takes about 3 or 4 days to get back here on the train. The delays and everything. So so that was the fourth week. It was on the train, and I did all my sleeping on the train. And then when I got there, I had hotels and everything.
Yeah.
That's how you save money. You travel in the middle of the night, and you spend your days, in where you're going. Now, you see, the trouble is when I go with people on trips, they insist on leaving at 8 in the morning and getting where we're going at 5 in the afternoon, and then you waste it. And now I have to look for a hotel, and not even have any fun, while I could be sleeping on the bus or the train all night long and wake up. There I am. I do this when I go to New York all the time, because when you take wake up at the Port Authority at like 8 a.m. after leaving, in the middle of the night. For one thing, you don't have all these traffic delays and
Yeah.
the tunnels and everything that happen in the daytime. It's usually pretty easy to get through the Holland Tunnel and the Lincoln Tunnel in New York.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you go. You wind up in the morning, and then and then I'm like real refreshed. I've already had a night's sleep. Here I am in New York. New York is getting started. It's only like 6, 7, 8 a.m. in the morning, and usually if you're in Times Square or somewhere near there, you could make your way to where they do the talk shows.
Yeah.
The morning talk shows. You could go to let's see, ABC has. Good Morning America, and that's in Times Square.
Yeah.
I don't know where CBS is. I think it's on
That's in
Western.
Los Angeles.
No, it's in New York. I'm talking about the morning shows.
Oh.
CBS morning show. That's the morning show is at so I think it's West 57th Street, and then, but the best one is in Rockefeller Center, and that's where the Today Show is. And like a lot of those days, they actually have big name singers doing a concert there.
Oh.
And one time I always try to gravitate towards there, and I saw Sting do a concert.
Oh, cool.
That was on television. He sang about 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sting. I see people all the time. I had no intention of seeing Sting that day. And then there was Sting. Hi, Sting. And what else? And but I've gotten a lot of my traveling done, and I'm in a special position. I'm probably not going to do really hardly any traveling in 2024, but I'll probably be moving, and I'm going through all my stuff, and I'm looking at all this junk that I've been keeping for years, and now I'm saying, do I bring it with me or do I not? And you don't realize until you're forced to look at stuff like, why do I have all these videotapes? Why do I have all these beige shirts? what old shoes? Gosh, shoes that I should have thrown out years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of times you get stuff like like shirts that have a button missing or something.
Yeah.
I said, well, I'll hold on to this, and then one of these days I'll sew a button on it, and then you don't sew a button.
Yeah.
Or you don't sew it to sew the tear in it or something.
Yeah.
I said, why was I keeping this all this time? And even if you say, well, I have plenty of room, they say, oh, why would I keep all that stuff?
Yeah.
Have you ever had to move?
Oh yeah, back in 1999.
Yeah, and I've never hired movers. I've always tried to keep it so I've never had that much stuff. I saw people carrying like a suitcase, and they said, this is what I'm bringing with me to my new home or something. I said, gosh, just one suitcase. I wish I could do that. I wish I could, luckily, I tell you what I have more than anything is photo albums. Oh, and then I not only have photo albums, I have photos to go with the photo albums that aren't, and you know what, and that's one thing you don't want to throw out, because you won't replace the photo albums.
Yeah.
But everything is on the internet now. There are some things that are just so good now about the internet. You can put all your photos on the internet. You can scan them and then take all your pictures and put them on the internet. You could, the movies you see, you get streaming off the internet. You don't have to have the DVDs or the videotapes. The music, the CDs, all those LPs. I wish I had all that money back, and now all that space back.
Yeah.
Because I used to buy a lot of stuff at Spencer's Gifts. And you remember Spencer's Gifts?
Oh yes.
I used to buy all those laser things and those mirror balls.
Oh yeah.
And those neon signs and everything.
Yeah.
And every time there was something on sale, I would buy it and hang it up in my place. I tell you something. After a while, your place, your apartment, your dorm room starts to look like Spencer's Gifts. You buy enough stuff, it looks like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to think of all the stuff I own.
Yeah.
I tell you, and you go to it, and then you realize, where does all this stuff come from? And then you realize, oh, I go to yard sales all the time, and I'm always finding something to buy there.
Yeah.
Nothing now thrills me at all more than going to a yard sale and not buying anything. I don't care how cheap it is. I don't care. I don't need all those. Well, I mean, I'm not kidding you. I actually had a whole bunch of 78s of Carmen, because I was afraid I would never be able to get the whole production of Carmen on record.
Wow.
So I bought the 78s at a yard sale. I don't think I've ever even played them. Who has a 78s photograph? And
I got a bunch of 78s too, but they're like classical and opera, but
yeah, they're all
but I can't play them because I don't have a 78 player.
78 player. You don't have a gramophone?
No.
You'd go to people's houses, and sometimes they would, like the Grammys, that little statue. It's a thing with a big cone, which is the speaker, I guess.
Yeah.
And you had this, and these were like breakable glass. They just shattered if you just dropped them or anything.
Yeah.
So the reason why 78s didn't last was because they didn't. Because those things broke so easily.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the LPs, the 33s, they last a little longer. So, but they could break too, and the CDs could break. I just had a CD break the other day because I think I sat on it or stepped on it or something.
Yeah.
I said, oh no. I remember once you putting a CD in a machine and just wouldn't play, and I said, what's the matter with this thing? What's the matter with my machine? And I'd look at it, thinking a big crack in the middle. It was actually broken.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, that's why. But I would go to people's houses and they'd have a gramophone. Let's listen to the old records, my grandma's records and stuff. And it was all like Caruso and Bing Crosby and stuff.
Yeah.
Fred Waring and Pennsylvanians. They would, and it would be Paul Whiteman, and it would be very. It would sound very tinny, but if you, and it also had a variable speed. You could make it almost any speed you wanted, but it probably 78 was the right speed.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was a kid, when I was a kid, it had 4 speeds. Now it only has 2 speeds, even if you find them. It's 33 and 45.
Yeah.
You know what those numbers mean?
33 is slower, and then 45.
Well, actually, it means RPM.
Yeah, rounds per minute.
Yeah, and what? And so 78. I mean, you could obviously think 78. I mean, as soon as you put a 78 down, like 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, it's over.
Yeah, yeah.
While the the LP was usually 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then so there was like 40 minutes, 45 minutes on both sides. If you're lucky. And so I said, well, I've never seen a 16. Why is there a 16 on here but no 16 records? We would put stuff like the Chipmunks on 16, and we'd actually hear them sing like normal people.
Yeah.
When I was in college, we did a very funny promo for the radio station where where a friend of mine and I was another DJ. He was actually head of the department, but we were friends, and we talked very slowly. How are you today? I am fine. And then when it was played at the fast speed, hello, how are you today? Are you watching? We are the Chipmunks. That was great. And so we had that. So it was weird how we figured it out. We thought that we sped up the voices, but actually, when you don't speed up the voice, you slow down the voice. And then when you play it at normal speed, it goes faster.
Yeah.
But it was neat if you went to the Chipmunks albums, and we had lots of Chipmunks albums. We would put them at 16. But I said, where was the 16? They said, well, those are records for the blind. I said, what do you mean? Well, the blind people have a lot of things read to them, like books and stuff.
Yeah.
And at 16 revolutions per minute, you could get probably almost 40, 45 minutes on a side. An hour and a half would be almost, a whole long magazine article or something. So that's what. And there are people actually that still record for the blind. It's actually a good thing to do. You donate your time, but then you're forever famous for reading stuff.
Yeah.
I should start doing that.
Yeah.
Sometimes books on tape now.
Yeah.
People do that. And let's see. And so, you enjoying your Valentine's Day? You look very nice and pink. Yeah. I'm wearing my Valentine's tie.
I'm wearing my Valentine's dress today.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Isn't that cool?
Look at that tie. Yeah. Where'd you get that?
Cracker Barrel.
You got it, Cracker.
I got it last year.
Yeah. They sell clothes at Cracker Barrel.
Yes.
How about that? A lot of crackers eating there. No, the Cracker Barrel. I was at Cracker Barrel today. You were dressed in your nice dress. I'm dressed in my costume. I tell you, the other people there, it's hard to believe it was Valentine's Day. They look like they just came off the off the farm. Does anyone dine anymore, or are they just there to fill their pile? Don't care how they look. There was a time when you went on a plane, people used to wear suits and ties and everything and dresses. Now, gosh, they look like they just rolled out of bed.
Yeah.
It used to be an elegant thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for having me here. You want to do another half-hour show?
Yes.
For part 2? Oh, then I'll be here.
Yes. I just want to thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you in a little bit. We're going to take a break. Take care. God bless.